in a bit of a rush. Let's get some breakfast.
Yeah.
We are in Budapest, as a little clue. Now, not far from Budapest, there's a very famous racetrack called the Hungaroring.
Ready? Hey!
And that is exactly where we are right now. Now, believe it or not, we're actually not here to test drive this electric P1, nor are we here to test drive this, the Senna, or the 675LT, or even the 720S. We're here to test drive this, the McLaren 600LT, the latest in the lineup of the McLaren Sports Series. Now, McLaren have their Sports Series consisting of a 540C, 570S, Spider, and 570 GT, and now the 600LT. There's then the Ultimate Series with the Senna and the Super Series with the 720S. But wait, before that, a little bit of background on McLaren, in case you're not quite up to speed with all this supercar stuff. McLaren Automotive was started officially in 2011 and have been producing cars like that, the 720S, 675LT behind me, which will become relevant later, and the McLaren Senna, their latest hypercar beast. Now, McLaren, well known for racing cars, Formula One, the pinnacle of the sport. They've always been at the very top of it, and they only decided to full-time commit to making road cars in 2011, and since they have been very successful. Now, they'd made a few sort of one-off bespoke projects for then with the McLaren F1, and they partnered up with Mercedes quite a few years back to produce the McLaren Mercedes SLR, a legendary car. Now today, the car that's particularly interesting to us is this right here, the 570S and the 570S Spider next to it. Now that's because we're here to review the 600LT, which is a hardcore version of these two. Now, of course, we're not going to talk about the absolute beast of a P1 that I'm in right now, which really is an absolute machine. But those two cars are going to become somewhat, not obsolete, but outdone by the latest McLaren beast, this, the 600LT. So let's get back to the white car so I can tell you all of the stats on what makes this car so special. Now, this car is the fourth car McLaren have ever made to have the LT long-tail connotation. First being the incredibly historic, incredibly rare, and massively expensive F1 GTR Longtail, then the 675LT, like we saw outside Coupe, 675LT Spider, and now the 600LT, which will also be produced in a Spider mode. Can you say Spider mode? Spider variant. The 600LT is not strictly limited. We don't have any specific numbers yet, but when the Spider comes out next year, and after deliveries start in this in October 2018, so October of this year, they'll only be they'll only represent 20 to 25% of the Sports Series lineup. Cool. LT obviously stands for long tail. Now that is actually appropriate in this car because it is a tiny bit longer at the back. It's 42 millimeters longer and a tiny bit at the front as well. It's obviously the lightweight, more hardcore version of the 570S. It's also got a bit more power. So power is up from 570 horsepower to 600, and Newton meters are at 620 now. That means this car bangs out some insane numbers. So 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, which is faster than the 488 GTB, equal to the Performante, and only 0.1 of a second slower than the Porsche GT2 RS. So we're talking serious numbers. I've also been told that cornering, you're going to be able to corner faster in this car than you would be able to in a 675LT. Now, if any one of you have ever driven a 675LT, you know that that is nuts because that car is insane. So to be able to think that this can go around corners faster than that is mind-bending. Lots of carbon fiber has been added and lots of weight saving. Now, anywhere from the wheels to the seats, which are the ones from the McLaren Senna, the carbon front splitter, all carbon around the back, and the speccable carbon roof. In total, you're saving about 100 kilos over the 570S. Stop it right there. Now that, to give you some context, is the equivalent of this massive crate of sugar. The new top exit exhaust also played into that weight saving, but make this car sound incredible. Now, I know this is down to personal opinion, but I actually think this car looks fantastic. These wheels have a slightly gold tint to them, and in this white color, I think it's a great looking car. A lot has been changed. 23% in total of the car has been changed, and that's both exterior and interior. So why don't we check out what they've done to the interior? So as far as the interior is concerned, it's a bit like the exterior. So it's a lot of carbon fiber from the door sills here to the door cards as well. They've removed a little pocket which used to be here, and now you just got a little net. And these seats come in different sizes. They come straight from the McLaren Senna and are very not only comfortable, but also they hold you in nicely. Now this one's a bit big for me. Then the rest is all finished in Alcantara. Now the screen is still here. You can have the car with no air conditioning or with air conditioning at a no cost option, but nothing's really changed. It's not like they've taken out the screen or done anything too dramatic inside. It's mainly just the seats and the use of materials. You've got a nice little shelf here if ever you want to go away on a holiday, but inside it still feels very usable for such a track focused car. The 570S interior, I was lucky enough to do quite a few miles in both the 540C, 570S and even the 570 GT. It's a very usable, ergonomic and easy to understand and use interior. So it's very nice to be able to see the functions still in the same place and nothing's really changed too much. I think that's a good thing because it still feels quite a bit more special, but it's not necessarily unusable. The real question is, the list price between the 570S and this 600LT difference is of £36,000. Now you could buy, you know, some pretty exciting cars for that price. You could get yourself a BMW M2 or something potentially. Now the question is it really worth the extra money? Wouldn't really be able to answer that unless I got to drive the car. The simple answer, guys, is yes, this car is worth every penny. We were lucky enough to actually go out in the 570S right before this. The comparison between the two is ridiculous. I'm sure the first thing you'll notice is the noise, which is so much better in this car. The crackles on the downshift are insane, but then the way it drives, it honestly borderline feels like a different car. There are similarities, obviously, but the way it handles and accelerates, but mostly brakes, is just on a completely different level. And this track is perfect. Obviously, we are on a very smooth surface right now, so I can't tell you how it would be on the road, but the suspension setup and the way this thing's driving on track is absolutely incredible. I can't even describe how good the front end is. You feel like you're on the limit of the grip, but then it's always got more, and I am not getting anywhere near the car's limits. We're going around a little chicane here, and the change of direction is so direct, so instant. The gearbox, as you know from the 570S and basically every other McLaren product, is just absolutely fantastic. There is nothing more to update you on there. It is still great, always has been. The steering, very precise, pretty communicative, but mainly it's just the way this thing handles, how flat it is. When you put your foot down, those 600 horses, they really do come alive. The torque, 620 Newton meters, as I mentioned before, it is up, and that's certainly helping. And genuinely, it's so many little things. I mean, from the 100 kilos less, the added stiffness, the newer brakes, it all comes together to really make this feel like a completely different experience. And if anything, I'd say that the premium is surprisingly low. I genuinely mean that, guys. This car is fantastic. You know what we said? The only way I can really describe this car is f***ing sick. Right now we're doing 230 kilometers an hour hard onto the brakes. There's so much less sort of squirming under brakes than in the 570S. I mean, that's much more of a GT setup, still an incredibly impressive car, but it just feels much less stable. Whereas this one, you can really be on it, and the car just feels like it's like, yeah, go on then, give me more. The tires obviously have been upgraded, and that does play into it. And as the tires get warm, the grip is just, I mean, it's violent. These seats as well, I'm a bit small for these particular ones, but they really hold you in. Obviously the seats on the Senna, oh, they're good. And it's, you know what, it just gives you so much confidence, this car. Like, you can just hop into it and really go for it kind of from the get-go. And there are some cars you really need to learn, whereas this car it's easy to understand, and it's kind of working with you to make you better. It's not trying to bite your head off. It's still exciting. Is the soul there? I mean, way a little bit of a drift there. The soul, yeah, maybe there are some cars which have a bit more soul and a bit more character, but if you're looking for a car to get you around a track fast, but also to be incredibly competent, I mean, this is where it's at. And at the price point, yes, it's quite a bit more than a GT3 RS, but having driven both, I honestly think you get a lot more out of this car. I'm just so grateful to have been able to drive this. What a machine. McLaren, you've done it again. They're on their track 25 now. Going to release a bunch of new cars or variants in the next few years, and if this is anything to go by, I am incredibly excited. What a car. What a car. Well, that's that then. I am hitting the road already. I'm going to head back to London tonight, and then I've got a bunch more videos coming very soon, so hopefully this won't be too long of a drive. I obviously don't have a roof, so I'm kind of hoping it won't rain.
This is great banter. It really is.
Thank you guys, as always, for watching these videos. If you enjoyed it, please remember to hit that like button. It does really help. Want to see more of this content, stay up to date with these kinds of reviews and what's going on in the car world and just the general life of someone who really, really likes their cars, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you again with another video very, very soon. Cheers, guys.
Hey! Let's go. Bet. Yo, once again.